Football Friday, Big Sills. We thank you guys so much for choosing us today, every day. You have so many options out there, and we so appreciate you coming aboard with us. And you know what's funny? Sills, this is the show that I want to throw a brick at, but here I am again. And to me, some of you guys have turned out to be some of the best people we've ever spoken sports to. I'm not kidding you. Okay? You know, there's only a few people that I like to throw flowers to, and this includes The Rock. I throw more flowers towards you guys than I do anybody in my life, including my own family. So, kind of like we are family here a little bit. We appreciate you coming aboard. That's enough before people start throwing up. I get it. Look at Prince. I hate this show. Here I am, Sills. Perfect way to start. Actually, here's the second way. Last day for you to qualify for our Hooters gift certificates. We do this each and every single day, starting on Tuesday all the way through Football Friday. All you have to do, we will put out a code word. Tone will throw it out throughout the program. All you have to do is identify it, email us your information, and you potentially could be a winner that we'll name on a Football Monday. You email your info, you send it on that email, dansileo@gmail.com. Simple as that. And we'll announce our winners, as I said, on a Football Monday. We've done this thing for 2 weeks, and it's absolutely taken off. So, I mean, our friend Maniac, how about my boy Maniac, man? He ended up winning a gift certificate from Jersey and from Delaware. Andy, congratulations to you guys. Sills clearly hates Hurts. Really? You think that, Joe? Joe, do you really think I hate Jalen Hurts? You really think I hate Jalen Hurts? I don't hate Jalen Hurts at all, man. Actually, Jalen Hurts said something yesterday. I was over on the Eagles' Twitter, and I'm not calling it X. I'm not doing that. To me, it's Twitter. And I was over there, and I watched him. He goes, hey, since when did winning become a bad thing? You know what I wanted to tell Jalen? Why don't you ask Doug Peterson that? Doug Peterson used to get crucified for winning games in Philadelphia 17-14. Am I wrong? What's the offense doing? I don't really think Jalen understands still a little bit of the fan base. Since when did winning become a bad thing? Ask Doug Peterson. Ask Doug Peterson. Did you not have problems when Doug was the head coach? Why are they winning 17-14? I mean, we won. Was it ever good enough with Doug? Yes or no? Was it ever good enough with Doug? Right? How many times did Doug get questioned for the offense? Right? How many times did he get questioned? I mean, but Buddy got fired for winning. Hey, winning games? I saw who was the coach in Chicago? Lovie Smith? Jim Caldwell. They won games. They got fired. Jalen. That city, especially in that city, Philadelphia, you're going to get questioned on how you approach the game, how you play the game, and the result of the game. It's not, nobody in Philadelphia just goes like this. Hey, we won. We got out of there with, a lot of luck here, a lot of skill. Let's move on and let's go to Tampa. Nobody talks like that in Philadelphia. You know better than that. Or does Jalen not know that? Come on, dog. I mean, you don't have a head coach like Nick Saban that starts talking to the media. You see, you know the difference you have in college? Nick Saban can call the media rat poison and get away with it. You can't do that. Nick Sirianni can't call the Philadelphia media rat poison. Coaches in the NFL can't talk to the media like that. And they don't. When have you ever, those coaches are gone. The coaches that talk shit to the media in the NFL, they're all gone. Okay? It's an absolutely different approach when you're talking college and pro football. Well, let's start with that because the start of week 3 was last night, and the 49ers absolutely dismantled the New York fraudulent Giants. Daniel Jones sucks. That guy, you really think Tyrod Taylor is that much lesser of a quarterback than that guy? Man, I see a better version of Tyrod Taylor when I see Daniel Jones, maybe a little bit more accurate and maybe a little bit more athletic. I don't see shit out of that guy. I just don't see it. I don't see. And you gave him $46 million. I'll tell you this, Kyler Murray's better than him. Kyler Murray is better than Daniel Jones. I would take Kyler Murray over Daniel Jones. I would take Kyler Murray. He's terrible. He's terrible. Brock Purdy looks like the guy. 310 yards in the game. I thought he was really great. By the way, Deebo Samuel was spectacular last night. 6 catches. All of them impact catches. Their defense is lights out. Now, again, it's the shitty Giants. Hey, Brian Dable, was that a one-year wonder kind of thing like we saw with Matt Nagy up in Chicago? I don't know. That team did nothing to improve itself. They did nothing to improve themselves. Darren Waller did not improve that football team. And by the way, that kid Kayvon Thibodeau, bro, you got to show up, dude. You got to show up. You were drafted to be a disruptor. I don't know, man. Kayvon Thibodeau so far as a New York Giant, I don't know. Brock Purdy has been great so far and undefeated. Great. Great football by him. I'll tell you one thing he does too, and I love what Kyle Shanahan is doing with him. He knows he's coming off of arm injury, and he knows he's coming off an arm injury. He's calling plays that he knows that he can make the throws. He's not putting him in a situation where he's got to make throws that potentially right now, because of that injury, he can't make. Okay? Brock Purdy looks like one of the top quarterbacks right now in the NFC. That 49er team, right now, if I were to rank, and with the Trayvon Diggs injury, 49ers, Cowboys, and Eagles, those are your top 3 teams, in my opinion. We'll see what the Cowboys do, and we'll see what the Eagles do Monday night. But the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. Easy to say that. I have no problem saying that. None. They've had better wins. The Giants were a playoff team last year, were they not? Dismantled. I think they dismantled that. Now, again, Barkley not being out there, the Giants really had no chance. I didn't think the Giants had a shot to win that game. 30-12. Was it really ever competitive? Kind of in the beginning, a little. But I never was like this at any time in that game. Hey, the Giants have a shot here. Okay? 49ers look way better right now. If you just to use this, all you drunk Bird fans hating on Purdy can't be objective. He's accurate, smart, consistent. That's what wins. Hey, shooter, they're not going to ever say anything about Brock Purdy right now, positive. So that's why I am. He's playing better quarterback than Jalen Hurts right now. He looks better. That offense looks better. That team looks better. They just look better. Eyeball test doesn't lie. They look better. Hey, we're going to make a comment about that Monday night game for the Eagles. So far, 3 games is a trend. They've got their 3rd game in. Niners look great. It is going to be a tough out to get him and that team knocked out of the playoffs. Team's playing way better. There's not a weakness. You know what they look like? They look actually like the Eagles of a year ago. Their defense is stout. Their offense has numerous offensive weapons. And the quarterback's playing well. Your defense sucks. Your quarterback is inconsistent. That's what we've seen so far. And some go, well, the Bucs are 2-0. I'm talking about how the team looks. 49ers look like the best team in the NFC. In my opinion, they are. 3 games is a trend. I can't wait till Monday night. Actually, I can't wait to watch the Cowboys this weekend. Dallas has what, Arizona? They're going to destroy that team. I'm not taking that much out of that thing. I'm not taking anything out of that Arizona. It's in Arizona. They may hang around a little bit. You're going to have to rely on Dak a little more now, probably put some more points up. But I don't think Arizona has anything to really, hang their hat on and say, hey, this is what we're going to know. Maybe if you had Kyler Murray, that would be different. I don't care if you refuse to believe it. You know it. The Niners look better. Now, let's be fair here. Today in September, on this day, the Niners look better. Does that mean they will in January? Absolutely not. Everyone's balancing injuries now. Everyone's balancing. And get this. Come Monday night after that game, the lame-ass excuses that Eagle fans have when it comes to it's only 2 games is over. You don't have that excuse anymore. It's over. Okay? It's over. So you better be consistent on Monday night. You better be consistent. Because if you're not, if you come out of that game and it's another 1-possession game against the Bucs, the Bucs may surprise this year. I don't know. I want to see them play against a halfway decent defense and a really good offense. You see, you're not balanced like you were a year ago. It's kind of like your offense. You're not very good in the passing game right now. Still efficient in the run game, and your pass defense blows. You're kind of unbalanced. Niners are balanced. Cowboys are balanced. You know what's funny? I don't really see a team in the AFC that has shown me any kind of balance. For all those great quarterbacks that are in that conference, I don't see a lot of balance on that side. I mean, Kansas City, I don't know. Devin says, if we stop a team's run and force them to pass being one-dimensional, it inflates the pass defense numbers negative, just like our run defense numbers last year. But you're not, that's not why your numbers are 31st in pass defense. And it's Mac Jones. The completion percentages are off the charts. Mac Jones threw the ball 54 freaking times and had 3 touchdowns on you. Kirk Cousins had 4. In 2 weeks, you've given up 7 sacks on your passing game, and the opposing quarterbacks have thrown for 7 touchdowns. I'm not what you're talking about. Now, look, you stopped the New England Patriots' run offense. I think that's a big deal. Let me move on here, though. I don't want to stay in this quicksand like yesterday. We talked about this bullshit already. I'm going to say something here that, you know what they're saying in Tampa about your boy Jalen Hurts? Do you know what they're saying about him? Let me get the quote. Todd Bowles still thinks the Eagle quarterback can't read NFL defenses. That's a word going around $1. Todd Bowles and the coaches at $1 place still believe your quarterback can't read NFL defenses. I'm not saying this, even though I agree with him. I still think he's learned. You know what's crazy about that comment, though? Patrick Mahomes last year said he's still learning to read defenses. He said that. And Andy Reid is helping him read defenses more. But you think because someone says that a quarterback needs to still learn how to read defenses, you take that as a slap when Mahomes said it. Hey, guess what? I'm still learning how to really, prepare for NFL defenses. And Andy's been instrumental in that. He said when he came into the league, he could rarely and barely read a NFL defense, and he's getting better and better at it. Are you under the impression that your guy is beneath those comments? That's a stupid angle to take, that your guy is beneath those criticisms. It's ridiculous when you got the best player in the game saying it. Why do you think Brady's telling Shedeur Sanders, get your ass out of the SUV and get your ass more into the study room? Because it's about reading defenses and learning and studying. Just because he's only been a starter 2 years, really one decent year, good year. Bowles never said that, huh, Keith? Well, you better use Google. He's already been caught on tape saying it. He can't read it. Keith, Google it. Google it. Google. Caught on tape in the playoff game. And now going around $1 this week. Why do you think that you saw Brian Flores put 5 across the backside? And why they went to the run game? Because they know it confused them. They're putting those secondary guys back there for a reason. What did even A.J. Brown say? A.J. Brown said, we're seeing things that we've never seen before. Because you know what coordinators are saying? Hurts can't read defenses. Micah, thank you. This ain't me talking here. Hey, I've given you my opinion. These are NFL coordinators saying this now. Of course he's learning. If you're not growing, you're dying. They're seeing so many different defensive looks this year, and edges aren't crashing to defend. That is such a great take, Christopher. That's correct. See what Christopher just put up there? That is exactly what that team and that offense has seen. Right there, Tone. The man who just gave us, thank you, sir, the $10, that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly right there what's happening. That's exact. They're not crashing those ends down. And given that opportunity and that counter trade to come out the back door, absolutely true. Absolutely. For accuracy, it wasn't cornerbacks. It was cornerbacks coach Kevin Ross who told his players Jalen couldn't read, not Bowles. If you go over and you read some of the articles, Bowles says it too. Not on tape, but Bowles Bowles agrees. Bowles agrees. Bowles agree. And by the way, the coordinator on that team in 2021, is that the year the Bucs won the Super Bowl? Okay? He was the defensive coordinator. And Bruce Arians, I believe, was the head coach in 21. So far, with what I've seen with defensive coordinators against Jalen Hurts in the offense, they don't believe he can read defenses either, just with their formations. That's why, to me, this is what I would do if I were the Eagles. I would do exactly what Jalen Hurts said. Who gives a shit how it looks? And you know what I do believe? I was watching the press conference, and you know the one thing that I do believe? I do believe that Jalen Hurts doesn't give a shit how he looks in a game. He just wants to come out of the game with a W. He's one of the very few guys, like Brady and all those guys, where statistical conversations really don't matter. They're so rare to find guys like that that don't care. Let me tell you this. I'll tell you something about Michael Jordan that I think is so underrated about him. You know, Phil Jackson actually had to go to him and convince him not to be a scoring leader in the NBA anymore. And he needed to get other people involved. And Jordan had to buy into that. You ever notice? All of a sudden, when Jordan started winning NBA championships, he stopped winning scoring titles. You think there's any coincidence to that? He had to be a team guy. And he had to sacrifice maybe being a 40-point guy. But he did it for the betterment of the team because he bought into what was going on. I believe Hurts does that. And when I heard him at his press conference, I bought into it too. I went like this. See, that guy doesn't give a shit about it. He's not going to turn the ball. Look, he's turned the ball over 3 straight games. I personally do believe the Bucs don't think that guy can read a defense. And you know what? The 2 coaches that have schemed against that Eagles offense, their formations dictate that. And that's why there's guys that have so few targets outside of the top 2 dudes. If you look at the receptions chart, if I'm not mistaken, Tone, I think both AJ and Devontae have 11 catches apiece. Then after that, it goes to 6 and then nobody. Okay? Cue ball goes, can Mayfield read a defense? So you're comparing Jalen Hurts to Baker Mayfield, who's been on his 4th team? Really? I think Baker Mayfield is okay. I wouldn't build my franchise around Baker Mayfield. You have built your franchise around Jalen. Now look, you built your franchise around an RPO offense, not a passing offense. There's a difference here. That's so true because great stats doesn't make you great because it's a team game and stats don't tell the whole truth, so it's distorted. Right. Just like some try to distort the Super Bowl. Who cares Jalen had the most yards? The most effective yards were by Mahomes. The answer, if they keep running cover O and holding the edge, is to run the ball right up the middle like we did last week. Well, you're not going to run the ball right up the middle. Personally, Vita Vea will beat. I'll take that matchup. The Bucs have the advantage on the nose. Kelsey's not going to blow him off the ball. That's not going to happen. He didn't do it in 21. He's not magically all of a sudden 2 years older going to do it now. You don't have the advantage at center over the nose. That's not true. Look, opposing defenses can go all in on the pass all they want. I'm sorry, I missed that. It's moving kind of quick here for me. You don't have the advantage. Now, you have the advantage in the O-line. Thank you, Tone. Look, opposing defenses can go in on the pass all they want be more happy rushing for over 200 yards in every game. Correct. Dude, the Buccaneers can't run the ball. And now that you have Carter and Davis playing the way you do, I'm going to say this to you also about the Eagle defense here in a second. There's no question Hassan Reddick's injury has affected that entire unit, including the secondary. His ineffectiveness has hurt that defense. He's hurt. I get it. Okay? If you want to use that as an excuse, it's a good one. It's a truthful one. But until that gets rectified, your pass defense is going to suffer because no one's getting home, except for the two tackles, actually. Josh Sweat played well last week. Okay? Your pass rush is hurting your secondary a ton. And with a weak secondary and linebacking core already, Sean Desai has done a marvelous job on coaching what he has because he doesn't have a lot. He doesn't have a lot. RPO, read, pass. No, that's not what it means, read, pass, option. It's run, pass, option. Guy's trying to change what RPO means. It's a run, pass, option. All of it's reading. It's run, no. Pass, I have the option. Our scheme is hurting our secondary. Can't line up 10 yards off the ball because your linebackers are scared because of the pass defense. That's why they're off the ball. But your tackles are playing so well that you can afford that with your weak linebackers to play a little deeper. You see, one of the great things that Tampa has, they play that cover 2 Tampa defense. You know why they're able to play and they're so effective, those linebackers? Because when you're a Tampa 2 defensive linebacker, you get great depth, and very few linebackers can play that style of defense. Ryan Shazier was spectacular at it, and Tomlin hasn't been able to replace a guy like Ryan Shazier. Ryan Shazier was like the Gronk killer. Okay, he was. Cover linebackers and fill gaps. Don't care if Hurts can't even read English. 1901. Silver medal. Congratulations. That record doesn't mean shit to me. It really doesn't. This is about winning the NFC East, home field advantage, and winning a Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care. Players don't care about that. Do you really think Jason Kelce even know? Probably does because it's early in the year. What the records are? Barrett Brooks was on a couple days ago. Barrett even told you, by the time you get to the midway part of the season, you don't even know what your record is. You're worried about the guy in front of you. You're not worried about playoff positioning and who's leading the – you worry about that shit late in the year. I'll give you a great story. I asked Nick Bonicani, did you guys know you guys were going for an undefeated record? He goes, you know when we realized it? The last game of the year against New England. Somebody came to us and said, hey, you guys are undefeated. They were like, holy shit, we are. They didn't care. They didn't realize it until the last game, the last week of the regular season. Okay? Now, you could take trends out of a record. You can. You know, if a guy has a great record versus another team, that tells you that the matchups that you have and every time you play, like when the Cowboys play the New York Giants, the Giants haven't been able to stop their personnel. It's not just Dak. You haven't been able to stop the personnel in New York. But you got 11 straight wins against that team? So that is something. Because you know why? Usually in the division, you are drafting to win your division first. and you're drafting versus the competition in your division. Still, the Eagles try to force more passing, makes us one-dimensional, and puts our best weapon in bad situations. Where can we get Hurts? So running is a must. I think, again, I personally, once again, I think the philosophy has been to take Jalen Hurts out of the run game. And I think it's hurt you. By the way, I'll say it one more time. DeAndre Swift doesn't frighten me. Hurts on third down does. Hurts on third down, third and long. If I was a coordinator, DeAndre Swift, he had 170 yards. He had 170 yards. Still was a one-possession game. You still had a 20-point lead in that game, and you let him come back in that game? Okay, when Jalen Hurts is third and long, and he picks up those third downs, that is a backbreaker. It is a backbreaker when you can't get your shitty defense off the field like the Vikings couldn't. Backbreaking. And what did they do late in the game? You guys say it's coaching. I say this. Well, it is coaching in a way. They just went like this. Our passing game's going nowhere. So let's just run it. And that's what they did. Their one dimension was something Minnesota couldn't handle. That's okay to win a game like that. That shouldn't be criticized. You took the passing game away from Hurts. Well, that's a collective decision you all make. They stopped throwing it. There's no shame in that. Why? Well, Minnesota couldn't defend it. Why would I try to force shit into a game? Can I tell you this? This is what I think the problem in Los Angeles with the Chargers are. And I think sometimes you fall into that up in Buffalo. They try to force their way of doing offense instead of looking at it for what it is. Let's just go with what we're doing better here. We're running the ball. Eagles getting away like that. I think that's why Buffalo looked better in week 2. They just went like this. We're not throwing the ball deep. We're going to have short intermediate passes, and that's how we're going to win ball games. They basically took the deep passing game away from Josh Allen. Am I wrong? Against the Raiders. That's coaching. There's no shame in that. There's absolutely no shame in that. Passing game's not getting it done for the Eagles. Okay, well, Minnesota can't handle the run. Lane Johnson. Okay. That's good coaching. That's in-game adjustments. Do you know that that's probably the best job that Brian Johnson has done so far? Was the fourth quarter versus the Vikings. Instead of trying to jam the passing game, which has been sputtering, they went away from that and said, Minnesota can't handle this. Okay? Minnesota can't handle it. Do you know what the luxury of that is, having a quarterback that can just do this? Well, let's just run it. Brady can't run it. Mahomes is not going to run it. If they have an ineffective passing game, the Chiefs, they're losing. Do you understand that? That's the advantage you have. But the problem becomes this. It doesn't look like last year. Do you know this? The one thing that the Eagles have still maintained from a year ago is the ability to do both. It's just not looking like it did a year ago. That's okay. Teams have caught up on you and put good game tape together on you. That is how you win ball games. You take what the defense gives you. I was proud of Brian Johnson. Dirty. That's the best bit of coach. See, everyone's like this. Okay. Well, they did become one-dimensional. But here, it's okay to do this. Yeah, they took the passing game away from Jalen in the fourth quarter. Why? Well, because Minnesota. See, it's the way, I guess, you deliver that. Well, it's because Minnesota couldn't handle the Eagles' run game. Our strength versus their biggest weakness was run defense. That's coaching it. It's not shade on Jalen. People look at it going, man. And hey, for me though, when you watch the 22 and you see the wide open guys that he's missing. Now you saw this press conference, and personally, A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts to have to address it, and Nick Sirianni. Do you know what I would tell you, media people? Kiss my ass. I don't have to explain myself to you for us having a private conversation on the sidelines that just so happened 4 million people saw it. I don't give a shit. I don't have to explain myself to you. You never see anybody in New England explaining for the last 25 years anything. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni don't owe you an explanation of what was said or not said. If those two go out there and ball out, guy gets 100 yards, 10 catches, and he has 1,500 yards, who gives a shit? Doesn't have to be addressed. That doesn't have to be, because then you know what people are going to do? They're going to dissect it more. Oh, really? Who cares? Personally, to me, it's the dumbest part of the week that I heard anybody trying to make anything out of. Of all the things, the thing that I said was that you have multiple players now complaining about targeting. Because Goddard, okay? Hey, I'm great in the run game. I could dominate in the run game. We know that already. He didn't like the way he was, his role in the offense in the passing game. That's the soundbite. And you got another guy that was complaining. That's when you start going, and then you look at the tape and you see the missed passes to the open guys. And you're like, what are they doing? Well, they're lining 5 up across the backside. And the Eagles are now, hey, Todd Bowles is going to do the same thing. But here's the difference. The Bucs can play the run. Okay, this Bucs defense is better than New England. I would say New England probably has better edge rushers. That kid White and Judon are probably better edge rushers. Okay, but everywhere else, linebacking, secondary, Winfield, all them dudes. Dude, look at the personnel. You don't have to go, we'll see. That team won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. That same defense won a Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl winning defense. That stopped Mahomes. You didn't. Don't talk to me about defenses. That same defense stopped Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl. You have a lesser defense today than what that thing is now. I'm talking the Tampa defense. You make it sound like you have a better defense than the Bucs do. You don't. And that almost exact personnel stopped Patrick Mahomes. And Tyreek. Was Tyreek on that team? Yes. Stop Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. Am I wrong? 3 years ago? You make that sound like it's 100 trillion. How old is Devin White? 25? It's a different Jalen Hurts. So far, you're right. It has been a different Jalen Hurts this year. So far, you're right. This is going to be a lot of... You got people walking around one Buck place right now that doesn't think your quarterback can read defenses. Today. That's a fact. I know that to be a fact. I know that to be an absolute fact. Would you agree with all the circumstances and the teams we have faced is going to help us when we, yes, that's a great take. That's a really great take, Tone, that I hadn't thought about on what he just said. That's a great take. All the deficiencies and all the struggles, which aren't a ton of struggles, but significant, will help you if you're able to get healthy. Would you agree with all the circumstances? I like that word better. And the teams we have faced, it's going to help us when the tough part of the schedule comes up to adjust. Amen. Yes, sir. 100%. You are exactly correct. Adversity is the only way you learn. You don't learn from being front runners. Absolutely. So Mayfield is on the level of Mahomes now? Who said that? The only person that cares about the Bucs, think, is you, Sills. I'm not rooting for the Bucs. I don't root for I root for the Hurricanes. I told you that. Look, I'm an alum. Sure. Okay. Great. They misused me there. I don't know. I don't have this gigantic affiliation with them. I have it with the Hurricanes. Dude, I don't root for teams. I've told you this. Buccaneers on the wall. Yeah, because Leroy Solomon gave me that. A legendary defensive end. My Buck helmet they gave me because I'm an alum. By the way, I have a Tiffany crystal ball back there because I'm part of the Alumni Association. It's called being an NFL player. I got a Tiffany crystal ball right here. Here. From Tiffany's. That the Bucs gave me. I think you can see Tiffany right on it there. There's Tiffany and Company. Pretty cool, actually. Yeah. So? And? There's people in that organization right now that do not believe Jalen Hurts is out of the gate in a good place passing-wise. And for you to blame Brian Johnson, Jalen's got to figure this out. Not Brian Johnson. Jalen's got to figure it out. And he started figuring it out a little bit at the press conference. Okay, on his current path, there's not a chance in hell he's throwing for $4,000. Not a chance in hell. Relevant. He's going to figure this out. Do I believe Jalen Hurts will figure that here? Do I think Jalen Hurts will figure this out more so than Justin Herbert will figure it out? Justin Herbert is a superior passer. But do I think that guy's going to figure it out? I don't know. He has the coaching to help him. I think they're figuring it out in Buffalo. I think they had a come to Jesus conversation with Josh Allen. We're not doing this. We cannot win a Super Bowl if we turn the ball over. That's also been another thing. Got to protect the football a little better. And those turnovers, 3 in a row now. Let's not see that against the Bucs on Monday. Okay? Let's not see that. Sills, who you got winning? Eagles or Bucs? I think it's 5. What is it? It's 5. The Eagles are given 5. That's for me to take the Bucs. I should have took them when it was 7. 5? I don't know, man. I think that game's awful close because you're not going to stop Mike Evans. Not a chance in hell. Mike Evans is going to destroy Darius Slay. Destroy him. Mike Evans right now is playing. Did you see him last week? He is playing like his hair's on fire. He is playing for a contract somewhere else. He looks so good. Michael Irvin told me, he goes, Mike Evans, you know Mike Evans is 6'5"? Am I right when I say that, Tone? He's 6'5". He's 215 pounds and he's 6'5". Dude, that guy is athletic as hell and he is a big dude. Do you know there's only one guy in pro football history? Mike Evans is 6'5", 231. He's bigger than almost Shannon Sharp. There's only one wide receiver. Only one wide receiver that has more 1,000-yard seasons than Mike Evans, and it's Jerry Rice. You don't want Slay on Evans. I want Bradbury's ass on him. You're damn right, Tone. Slay can't cover him. Slay's not your best DB anymore. That's a great comparison, CZ. I don't believe that Mike Evans. Hey, would we not agree, Tone? Mike Evans has to be one of the most underrated wide receivers in pro football history. Because I did the same mistake. Tone goes, dude, this guy's got 9 1,000-yard seasons. And Sills, they're in a row. And this guy had Jameis Winston early in his career. I mean, you know what he's telling Baker Mayfield? Just throw it up. I'll get it. Just throw it up. I'll get it. He's not as electric as Megatron. Megatron is electric. It's just an electric player. Electric. I mean, you know what? If I had to put athleticism at the position, Jerry Rice would not be above Randy Moss and Megatron. There's something different about Moss and Megatron. I mean, they were freakazoids, man. They go up into triple coverage and they come down with it. Like, how about this? A.J. Brown's not better than Mike Evans. He's just not. And get this, that's no shade on A.J. because I'm talking about a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer. Mike Evans, when I put the list together, when he's done, he's going to get – this guy's got 10,000 plus yards already. Okay? This guy's a Hall of Fame guy. Winston wasn't great. He did throw for 5,000 yards, though, one year. Remember that? He had 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. But he sure slung it. He did, man. Remember that year, Tony? He had like 30 TDs and 30 interceptions. Evans has over 1,200 targets through 10 years. Whew. Man, what a football player. Underrated as all hell, man. He is a great player. Mike Evans has been lining up in the slot a lot more this season. When that happens, who would you want to guard him? Whew. Can I tell you, man? This is going to sound weird. Man, would I risk putting Sidney Brown on him? I think you need a big body on him. I think you need a big because I don't think the Eagles have a guy that can defend him. Now, am I 100% sure that Baker Mayfield's going to make the right decisions? To me, it's not the receiver. It's the quarterback. Dude, he's still Baker Mayfield. He's playing better. He totally is. But he's still Baker Mayfield. You know what I mean? He's still Baker Mayfield. We can sit here and debate that all we want. He's still Baker Mayfield. Okay? You got to play physical but they don't play. But see, here comes again a problem that the Eagles have defensively, and it's been this way going into 3 years now. They're not a press coverage team. They're not a man cover team. Darius Slay has never been a very good man coverage corner. He's never been. He's a great center fielder. Mike better than AJ? Yeah, he is. I'll tell you what. AJ's not going to the Hall of Fame. Mike Evans is. Mike Evans is going to the Hall of Fame. Think DK Metcalf's going to get in there? We'll see. I don't know. Shit, the guy Michael Thomas. Shit, Antonio Brown has better numbers than A.J. Brown. Look at Antonio Brown's numbers. Look at Antonio Brown. Okay? They are two different guys. But that's not how the Hall of Fame looks at it. They look at pass-catching wideouts, either slot or at Y and Z. It's kind of how they have always done it that way. They put them all in one pool, unfortunately. That's why you got a guy like Mark Bavaro who played in a different era, Tone, that doesn't have all the big targets and big numbers. Even though he was the prototype tight end back in the day, he'll never get into the Hall of Fame because he's put into the pool with Jay Novacek and guys like Jason Witten. And it's totally unfair, but that's just the way they vote. It's just the way it is. Okay? And it's not cool and how they do it. Yeah, but prior to last year, AJ's statistics aren't anything really out of hand great. 68 catches, 65 catches. I mean, they're good. I mean, I could go find Hunter Renfro's numbers too. Prior to a couple of years, he had pretty good years. Or even that guy Adam Thielen. I mean, his number now, was he not used correctly in Tennessee, and did that stunt his numbers? Yes. A.J. Brown is not a better talent than Mike Evans. Plain and simple. He's just not a better target. Now, he's a great player. Not taken away. Dude, there's guys that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at every position in this league. Because you're the 7th best defensive tackle in the NFL, that's a great thing still. Okay, if you're the 5th best offensive tackle in the NFL, I'm all right being Scottie Pippen. I'm going to make $20 million if I'm the 5th best tackle in the league. There's no shade on that. But Justin Jefferson is here. Devontae Adams is here. Tyreek Hill is here. And then there's everybody else. DK and AJ. So, hey, how about Debo last night? Debo Samuel looked good. AJ Brown's a baller. Look, I'm not going to sit here and debate that. Evans has put, really, I mean, I had to put more respect around him. And I'm going to put more respect around him. Because I've not really, again, this is my fault for not covering the Buccaneers like I used to. Because I lived in Tampa, did morning drive in Tampa. Hey, remember something, guys. You know what's crazy? The Bucs got me fired. So don't sit here and tell me that I'm rooting for the Bucs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were instrumental in me getting fired in Tampa. So don't talk to me about being a homer for the Bucs. Okay? I'm only saying both players are just at different points of their career. Okay? We'll see. We'll see how well he does this year. I think he's off to a decent start. I think both these guys are going to be right around 1,000 yards again. Hey, personally, I think Devontae Smith so far is faster out of the gate this year than AJ. Devontae's continuing, even in the offense right now. I would say one of the high points on the offensive side is the continuing growth of Devontae Smith. Would that be fair? Here, he's the only guy that I would go like this so far offensively. Sills, who do you like offensively this year on the Bucs? Devontae, continuing to get better and better and better and better every time he steps on a football field. How about on defense? Jordan Davis. The two guys that are getting better are Davis, because we don't know Jalen Carter yet. We're watching him in his first year. It's not a fair comment to go like this. Hey, look, I say it like everyone else too. He looks unbelievably great. He really does. But you know what's going to be part of this whole process for Jalen Carter now as we move closer and into the first part of the season, middle part of the season, and end of the season? Can he maintain it? You know what here? I haven't even really hit on this. Do you know what happens to most rookies? What do you think happens to most rookies? What would you think happens to a guy like Jalen Carter or anybody? What do you think happens? And it'll happen to Carter. What do you think happens to a guy like hit the mid-wall, hit the mid-season wall? Why? They're used to playing 13, 14 games. Those extra weeks, those extra practices, and if you're playing playoff, you're just not conditioned. Physically, mentally. Dude, it's an absolute grind. My rookie year, we played 12 games back in the day. And when you got into your 13th and 14th week, and you had 2 more weeks left of the season, you were out. I must have lost 25 pounds. Okay? So the question will be, I'll give you a great Eric Dickerson story. Eric Dickerson was insane, though. His first, Eric Dickerson went for 1805 or 1,800 some yards. He had 346 carries. He said by the end of the year, he couldn't believe how exhausted he was. Next year, he conditioned himself. He went for the legendary 2105. Oh, in 16 games. He went for 2105. Okay, because he conditioned himself and he was ready in the playoffs. Can you imagine that? That guy had 4,000 rushing yards in 2 years. Had like 700 carries. I mean, Eric Dickerson is the greatest running back I've ever played against. And I played against Bo, Herschel. He was the greatest running back I've ever played on. For now, would you have Jalen play one half of the field until he learns to read and look off defenders? Bear, what you're saying is not a bad approach, because Walsh did that with Montana for the first part of his career. He rolled him right and put him. Hey, maybe you put Jalen on the move more. I think Jalen's Jalen's good on the pass and the move, right? I mean, running around. Maybe you do that. It'd be more of a threat. Maybe what that'll also do is take those DBs and push him back further. If they put him more on the move and more in like open field where he could throw the ball. That could be something to think about. And you could have Swift scraping across the bottom down there, get touches for him in the passing game. Could be something to think about. Because what they're doing is they're loading up the secondary and they're forcing the Eagles to be one-dimensional. And they have done it. So far, the Eagles are one-dimensional. But that's by design on what they're doing to them. Okay? That's by design. You know what I'll say to this so far with the Buffalo Bills? They righted the ship. Do you know how I would defend the Buffalo Bills? Do you know how I would attack Josh Allen? I would defend everything underneath. Do the best I can stopping the run, and I'd make him throw the ball deep. He has more turnovers throwing the ball deep than he does underneath now. Now, what you do is, though, when you're starting to take that away and he's throwing those more high percentage passes, his turnovers are going to come down. It's actually a brilliant way to coach. What he's doing is Ken Dorsey's putting the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, is putting him in a successful position to win. That's good coaching. Brian Johnson, fourth quarter, put him in a better position to win. He went like this. Screw the passing game. It's too inconsistent right now. It's not horrible. It's too inconsistent. And plus, they're defending it. Why in the world, if you saw 5 DBs lining across the middle, 5 across, would you not run the ball and still force your passing game on that? Why would you do that? Ego? Not a good play caller? Wanting to get Jalen as I'll tell you this. Can I tell you why? This is why, Tone, everyone, this is why I think Jalen Hurts made those comments at that press conference yesterday. The shit they're doing right now, they're taking the passing offense away, and you know what else they're doing? They're taking limited touches away that you had a year ago. You had more drives last year. You're third in the NFL in 3 and outs. That wasn't the case last year, which gives you more or less opportunity for big plays, right? Common sense. You're third in the NFL in 3 and outs. Okay? JM goes, Vegas has one of the worst defenses, and the Vikings don't? The Vikings don't? And they still held you to a 1-possession game. I mean, at home. At home. Hour number 2. Please hit the like button. Hey, our good friends at Hooters, football and Hooters, both go together this fall. And by the way, we're going to be in town next week at the King of Prussia Hooters. We'll give you more details as we get into next week, but we look forward to seeing many of you there. By the way, too, with football, there's some college football tonight. This weekend, I can't wait for the Canes in Temple, and also Colorado, Oregon. I can't wait to watch that. Then Sunday football, then Monday night football. Look, guys, get into any one of the 7 locations in the Northeast area by going to northeasthooters.com. If you don't want to go into any one of the facilities, you can go to hooterstogo.com, take all the grub home with you, your own stadium, and experience what I've known for over 40 years being involved with the great folks at Hooters. Try some of the 40-year traditions. 40th anniversary we have here. You buy 10 wings, 10 boneless for free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983. That's the year the place was founded. Kids eat for free on weekends. On top of that, okay, $6, 6 items, fried pickles. Try the great items that are on that menu. NortheastHooters.com. Find one of those locations nearest you. And when you roll into any one of the Hooters, do me a favor. You tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters.